To go? All right. Yeah, it's
Yes.
7 o'clock. My time, 7 o'clock. I don't know about everybody else. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Douyin. I recognize, let's see, I see Bill. Is that Bill Prather from California? Is it 5 a.m. where you are, Bill? Yes. Way to go. All right. Well, very good. My name is Kerry Loeb. I live here in the Central Highlands area of Mexico. Welcome to my home. And thank you, Ganat, for, first of all, sponsoring this forum, this all-day forum for everybody. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this. I'm very honored. So just real quickly, I discovered this form of self-healing and self-massage, I think it was 35 years ago, and I've been practicing it pretty much ever since on a daily basis or regular basis. And it's really made a tremendous difference for me in my health ongoingly, as a way to build my chi. I'll be referring to chi, which is energy, as a way to build my chi, and also as a way just to maintain my overall health. It's a wonderful way to move the energy through the body. I learned this from two people, primarily two people, actually many more, but my two main teachers were Shizuko Yamamoto and Patrick McCarty, who many of you, or at least some of you may know. They both have passed, but I apprenticed with them for 7 years and learned Douyin and also Shiatsu and practiced it for many, many years, and now still teach. As a matter of fact, I'm developing a very comprehensive self-massage Douyin online program, and I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later at the end. But basically the theory, before we get going here, the theory in Chinese medicine is that if the energy is moving through the meridians, and I'll be referring to meridians, 14 meridians, which are the pathways of energy through our body. If the energy is moving through these meridians and through the internal organs that they relate to, and I'll be addressing that as well, then ill health, imbalances, disease, chronic pain, things like that cannot exist. So that is the theory in Chinese medicine, and we can achieve that in a number of different ways. I know many of you are part of Ganat's program, so you know a lot about health and healing and diet and how important, especially diet is. But I find this to be a great adjunct to having a great diet, and it's keeping me healthy. I'm 92 years old, and I do not feel it. I hope I don't look it. Anyhow, so
I was going to say, you don't look a day over 91.
Thank you, Ganat. How complimentary. So yeah, we're going to go. I hope everybody has a mat. I want to first of all mention that in Chinese medicine, and many of you probably know this, in macrobiotics, it's taught very much the 5-element theory, where each organ system relates to a different time of year. And it means that organ system needs special attention during that time of year, because it may be at its most vulnerable or at its weakest point during that season. So right now we are into lung, large intestine time for another 3 weeks. So this is a really important time to pay attention to our lung health. And I'm going to be talking about that and doing some extra work on the lungs today. In 3 weeks, we start the kidney bladder time of year, which is winter. And that's when our kidney chi, our energy, is going to be at its lowest. And we want to really work on keeping that up in whatever way we can. And I'm going to be talking about that and demonstrating some ways that we can keep the kidney chi up, so our energy's up, and so our immune system's up, and so we don't get sick. And of course, the lung function is extremely important, especially in this time of COVID, because we need to have strong lungs. So here we go. We're going to come first to a standing position, and I'm going to be going back and forth and adjusting my camera. Hang on, I'm going to, whoop, that didn't work. Okay, hang on. Go back to that view. Okay, I think you can see me. Raise your hand or something if you can't. You're only going to see right now, you're just going to see the upper part of my body, which is fine. So everybody in a standing position, we're going to move some chi. Okay, very good. Very good. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go side to side, looking behind us, twisting around, and we're letting that upper hand come right here. Can everybody see this point right here? I'm letting the upper hand come and hit me right here. This is lung 1. And if you make a fist, it's even better. And you can come into this area fairly strong, lung 1, as you're turning your head the other way, all the way around. So you're twisting your spine, and you're letting that hand come in, that fist come into lung 1 right here. Very important point, the most important point on the lung meridian. So let's keep those lungs strong and healthy and open and clear. Keep that chi and blood moving up there. Turning, twisting. And then we can come like this, and now we're going to activate lung 1. At the same time as we're doing that, we're going to go up and down the side of our body, which is more gallbladder and liver. And gallbladder liver is responsible for distributing the chi throughout the entire body. So the kidneys store the chi and the liver moves the chi, liver gallbladder. So we want to work the lungs and the liver gallbladder at the same time. Hitting some really good points. Other side, same thing. Lung 1 at the top, up and down. Sort of like chewing gum and rubbing your stomach at the same time, but maybe a little easier. Okay, now holding at the elbow. There's some really great meridians that run up through the shoulders where a lot of energy gets stuck for many of us, especially if we use the computer a lot. Large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, some other one, and triple heater up through here. So let's hold at the elbow, make a fist, come over. We're just going to pound all over in this area into the lower neck, shoulder. We're just unsticking any kind of stuck energy up here. Remember, the theory is if the energy is flowing and it's not stuck, then disease, ill health, health imbalances, pain cannot exist. Other side, holding at the elbow, and we're just going to pound there. All over, small intestine, large intestine, do a little triple heater. Good, good. Okay, now, in each arm, there are 6 meridians or 6 pathways of energy. There's the yin meridians and the yang meridians, 3 on each side. We're going to stretch all of those out so the energy can flow through these meridians freely. So let's just grab our hand like this. And all we're going to do is go back and forth. And this opens up the heart governor, and the lungs. You feel that stretch in the forearm, back and forth. If we go one way, it opens up one meridian, the other way, it opens up the other one, and then there's one in the middle, which is the heart governor. Okay, and now we're going to turn our hand over, and we'll do the yang meridians, which is small intestine, large intestine, triple heater. And all we're doing is pulling that hand back so you're really feeling a stretch right in here. Back and forth, back and forth. Opening up those yang meridians. Okay. And then we can go back up to lung 1. Remember this point? Let's pound down the arm, all those yin meridians. Turning, pounding up. Back to lung 1. down the arm, up the arm, down the arm, up the arm, bringing that arm to life. And then we're going to hold at the wrist and let's just shake everything out. A lot of energy gets stuck in the joints in the body, including the wrist. A lot of wonderful points in here. And then let's hold at the elbow again, and we're just going to throw out. Almost like you're throwing water down through your arms and through your fingertips, just throwing the chi out so it can circulate through the 6 meridians in the arm. Very good. Okay, we'll come to the other side and we're going to stretch those yin meridians, lung. This is lung, pericardium, heart. Going back and forth, just stretching it out, back and forth. Very good. Very good. And then we're going to turn the other side and we're going to stretch and open up the yang meridians. Again, large intestine, small intestine, and triple heater. Back and forth, back and forth. Very good. And then we're going to start at lung 1. And we're going to pound down the yin meridians, all the way down, all the way up to lung 1 again, down the lung channel, all the way through the hand, back up, and down, and up, holding at the wrist. And we're just going to shake everything out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Move the chi through the wrist, through the fingers, and then holding at the elbow. And again, we're just going to throw out. There we go. Throw everything out. Very good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, now we're going to do an exercise to kind of shock the system to move the chi through the entire system. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to do 2 things at the same time. I'm going to be breathing in and raising my shoulders up. While my shoulders go up, my heels come up off the floor. So you're not going to be able to see my heels, but just know that I'm up on the balls of my feet while my shoulders are up in the air. Okay, I'll demonstrate one. Breathe in, I'm up, shoulders up, and out, and I drop fast. Breathe in. Breathe out. Another one. Breathe in. Shoulders way up. Heels way up. Breathe out. One more time. Quick drop. Breathe in. Shoulders up. Heels up. Breathe out. Great way to move the energy through the body. And now let's just do some of this where we're just coming back with our fingers outstretched as far as they will go. And we're going up, looking up at the ceiling, looking up at our hands. Big movement here. Big movement. Stretching, opening up the lung channel and the other yin meridians, but also just kind of stretching everything out. Very good. Okay, good. So I want to show you a couple of points in the standing position, and these are considered in the top 5 points in the body. So I want to cover some of the most important points for you today as much as time will allow. But these are really important because these it's a gallbladder. These are gallbladder points, but they very directly relate to immune function and staying healthy throughout the year, especially this time of year and going into winter time. These are called wind pond points that I'm going to show you. And I work them every day because it's so important to keep the energy moving through the back of the head, top of the neck, where these points are. Because in Chinese medicine, this is where external pathogens enter. So if our immune system is a little bit low, things like colds, flus, and viruses, according to Chinese medicine, will come in right here. So we want to keep this area open and protected all the time, especially in the colder, windier times, because that's when the wind can enter here, and before we know it, we're sick. So very important points. I'm going to demonstrate by putting my thumbs about 2 inches out. I hope everybody can kind of see this. I'm out about 2 inches at the base of the skull. I'm going to breathe in. As I breathe out, I'm just going to bring my head back on top of my thumbs. Yeah? Good. And release. And let's try that again. Breathe in. And breathe out and push in to the gallbladder 20 points. Wind pond. Breathe in. And breathe out. Ay. Okay, very good. Gallbladder 20. Now we're going to hold the forehead like this. We're going to hold the other hand like this. And we're going to just slap that area in the back to open up gallbladder 20. Keep that wind pond open and strong. Pounding, 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 pounding. All over the back of the head, or the back of the skull and upper neck. Okay, very good. One more way we're going to get to gallbladder 20 that feels really wonderful. I love this stretch, and it accomplishes a lot of things at the same time. What we're going to do is bring our hand over. We're going to lock our fingers into gallbladder 20 on the opposite side of the head. So my fingers are on over here. So there's gallbladder 20, right there. I'm locking in. The other hand's going to come up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch by letting our hands go like this. So we're coming into gallbladder 20, but we're also pulling down on our shoulder. So here's gallbladder 20. I'm just doing this. So stretching, letting the fingertips come into gallbladder 20, and letting these fingers work down the neck and the shoulder. Down the neck, yeah, looks good. Gallbladder 20, so we're pulling over and we're stretching down at the same time. Really let the fingers slide and move and work that gallbladder 20 point, and then feel the opening in the large intestine, small intestine, triple heater, meridians in the shoulder. Okay, other side. Coming over, grabbing gallbladder 20 in the back on the opposite side, going opposite side, and then this hand stays here, just like that. Down, stretching, stretching, and stretching. Very good. Okay. Now, we're going to get a little bit of internal organ massage here. And the way we're going to do this, I want to focus first of all on the liver gallbladder function, because as I mentioned, the liver is the general of the body. It's what moves all the kidney chi and all the other chi through the body. Liver is right here underneath the right rib cage. We want to let our fingers come in right there on one side. Other side on the left rib cage is more stomach and spleen. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to rock over to the side, and as I come over to my right side, those fingertips are really sinking in underneath the right rib cage. Feel that? Yeah, we're really getting into the right rib cage. And then back on the other side is stomach. And then back and back and forth. Back and forth. Back. And now you can let the fingertips slide down your abdomen a little bit as we still go back and forth. And now we're getting into large intestine, maybe a little bit of small intestine. back and forth, just opening up those internal organs. There you go. Good. All right, I just got to check. Okay, very good. Yep, back and forth, back and forth. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to open up the low back a little bit. The low back is controlled by the kidney function, according to Chinese medicine. So this affects the kidneys. And the way we're going to do this is let our thumbs come into our low back on either side of the spine. And all we're going to do is do big circles and letting the thumbs do the work into the low back area. Right? Okay, big circles, letting the thumbs do the work. These are bladder points. The bladder works with the kidneys. The kidneys control the low back function. So stronger kidneys, stronger low back. Go the other direction, letting the thumbs do the work. Very good. Very good. Okay, wonderful. So let's start with the head. We're going to do some percussive techniques to move the chi through the body. And we'll start at the top of the head where there's 4 different meridian lines. There's a lot of points up here. So we're just going to slap the head. Everybody see that? Just slap the head. Above the ears is gallbladder, triple heater. And we have bladder all over the head. If you hear a hollow sound while you're doing this, then you got issues and I can't help you. Hopefully you don't hear a hollow sound. Okay, all over here. Let's come to the lung 1 points. Down the side of the body, moving the chi through the gallbladder and the liver. Good. And then in the internal organs, let's make big circles. All over in a clockwise motion, we are bringing blood and chi to all the internal organs so that they can function better and so there's no stuckness in the internal organs. Okay, I'm going to move my camera a little bit because we're going to come down the body and the outside of the legs is gallbladder meridian, all the way down, gallbladder and stomach, up and down, up and down. Inside the legs is liver, mostly liver, and kidneys. Up and down, up and down. Coming to the back of the body, we're going to pound into the lower back and kidneys. Go up as high as you can with your fists. We can even get to the back of the lungs this way. Yeah? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Now into the buttocks area. Old-time Macrobiotic teacher Michio Kushi said, tight butt, tight brains. So we want to work our butts so our brains aren't too tight. Up and down, and then come back up. All right, very good. Now, let's come to a seated position. And I'm going to demonstrate. Yeah, you might not be able to see my head completely, but you can see the bottom. Yeah, you can. Okay. So we want to focus, as I mentioned earlier, on the kidney function today. Because kidney function starts December 21st and it goes until March 21st. And that is the time when our kidneys need the most attention because they'll be at their weakest. But it's very important to work on them because otherwise our energy is going to be really low, our immune system will drop, and we can get sick. And we don't want that to happen. So some points on the kidney meridian, on the bottom of the foot right here is kidney 1. See that? So what we want to do is stimulate this point. This is the main point on the kidney meridian. One really good way to do that is if you can do this. Can you get in this position, everybody? If you can't, it's okay. If you can just do this, is this okay? But if you can do this, it's even better. Very good. I'm looking at the screen. I can't quite tell. Some people can, yeah. Okay, so we're holding here, and now we're just going to slap kidney 1. And now make a fist, and we're going to hit kidney 1. Very good. And now all over the bottom of the foot, all over the bottom of the foot. Because there's a map of the entire body on the bottom of the foot. So we're working the entire body by just working our foot. Very good. Okay, now allow that foot to drop down. And I want to show you, we're going to get back to kidneys, but I want to work these liver point here because it's the most important point on the liver meridian. Now, let me just say that the emotion that's correlated to kidneys is fear. And so the stronger our kidneys are, the less fear we will have in our body. So it's one really great way to work with that emotion. The emotion of the liver is anger, restlessness, irritability, impatience. And that time of year is in the spring. But we can feel those emotions year round. And it can be an indication that the liver energy is stuck. So we want to move that energy. And the best way to do that is right here on my foot. If I follow the line up between my big toe and the next toe, right there is liver 3, right in the junction of the bones. And the way I like to get to it is put my thumb on it, come over and put my other thumb on top of that thumb, and push in. Liver 3. Everybody, if you find the point, you'll know it. It can be a little bit tender. If you have some liver stuckness, it can be very tender. Everybody, raise your hand. Does anybody find this point? Do you feel a little tenderness? Gnat. Okay, Gnat found it. Okay, Clara. Very good. And Karin. Very good. And keep working that point. Really important point for allowing the free flow of energy throughout the entire body, because the liver meridian controls that energy, moving the energy. It is the general of the body. So there's liver 3, very good. Other points down there we can work as well, but for today, we'll just say that is good. Let's come to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing over here. There's that point again. Remember kidney 1, bringing the chi up, bringing that energy up in the body, strengthening the immune system. Let's slap it. All over. First kidney 1, and then you can go all over the foot. But focus on kidney 1. Fist, remember, let's hit it with our fist. Kidney 1. Really stimulating this point. Up and down, up and down. Good. Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to come back to kidney 3, or excuse me, liver 3, where we follow that line up, maybe about 1.5 inches or 2 inches from the base of the toe, between the big toe and that next toe, and put your thumb in there. And if you want, you can bring your other thumb over and push to apply more pressure, really push into liver 3. And so many of you probably know the things that congest the liver are things like eating late at night, too many fatty foods, too much food, spicy foods. Too many of any of that kind of stuff is going to congest the liver. Too much unexpressed anger or overly expressed anger will damage the liver function. Stress is a big one. Stress really impacts the liver and shuts it down so it can't move energy through our bodies. When I used to see clients, I'd see people who had really, really strong kidney chi. They had really good ancestral chi, but they were tired all the time. And the reason for that is, even though they had a lot of energy, an abundance of energy in their body, it couldn't move. And the reason it couldn't move is because their liver chi was stuck. So they needed to open it up through doing this work, through diet, lowering their stress, whatever they could do to allow for that free flow of energy. Okay, that's liver 3 on that side. Very good. All right, back to kidneys. I'm going to show you. Some of you will be able to do this and some of you won't. And that's okay if you can't. It's just something to work up to or just be aware of. There's a really good move that accesses the kidney 1 point, but also stimulates all the points on the back of the body, which includes the bladder meridian, which is part of the kidney function. So the way we're going to do this is cross our legs in a seated position. I'm actually going to roll backwards. So as I said, some of you won't be able to do that. That's okay. I'm going to show you an option to that. So for those of you that are going to roll backwards with me, make sure there's not a chair or a table back here behind you. Now, if there is, and you hit your head, it would probably stimulate some really good points back here, but I don't recommend it. It's not the best way to go. So, okay, legs crossed, and we are going to put our hands into kidney 1. And if all you can do is this, that's fine. Just breathe in, and as you breathe out, come forward and let your thumbs fall into kidney 1. Breathe in and breathe out, coming forward into kidney 1. Okay, now, if you can join me in this, if you can't, just continue to do what we're doing. If you can, we're going to breathe in and come back. Breathe out, come forward, all the way up, and really stimulate kidney 1. Breathe in, breathe out into kidney 1. Breathe in, breathe out into kidney 1. Again, breathe in, breathe out. Ah, kidney 1. One more time. And breathe out. Very good. Okay. That one, I love that one. It really wakes me up. So we're going to do another stretch, another move that's going to access this point on top of the head right here. This is called governing vessel 20. It's one of the top 5 points in the body. It's called the 100 convergence point in Chinese medicine, which means 100 different things come into this area at the same time. So very important point. In Chinese medicine, it's what connects the body to the heavens. So this is the connecting point. It's a spiritual point in many traditions. And the way we're going to access this is be down on all 4s, like so. And I'll demonstrate first. Just watch first. I'm going to bring my head down onto the ground, right on that point, which is at the very top of the head, right here. Everybody see that? Okay, we're going to come down. And then I'm going to bring my arms up, and I'm just going to do big circles to stimulate that point. Does everybody see that? I'm just going to do big circles on the top of my head in a clockwise motion while I'm stretching my arms behind me. Yeah? Let me watch. Good, Ganat. Looks good. Karin, yeah, down on top of the head. Very good. And we're stimulating that point on the top of the head while we're stretching the shoulders. And we're just doing big circles on governing vessel 20. Now, while we're in that position, let's release our hands and we're going to pound the kidneys again. Up and down, and come up. Good. Good move. Opens everything up. So in the mornings, if you feel, or in the morning or any time during the day, you feel you want to increase your energy, do that stretch where you're doing clockwise circles on this point on the floor, and it will definitely bring your energy up. If in the evening, if you want to relax, do the same exact thing, but go in a counterclockwise motion. This will relax what's called the Shen, or the spirit, in the body and allow you to sleep better. So it's a wonderful exercise to do before you go to sleep. I want to show a couple of points on the legs. Now, these points are some of the strongest points in the body, in the top 5 for sure. And this one, the first one, is spleen 6. And the way we're going to get to it is placing our hand right here on top of the ankle bone. And then on top of our hand, right here, on top of the hand, yep. And then we're going to push in behind that bone. Everybody see that? This is spleen 6. Spleen 6 is an amazing point for immune function. It's also really good for digestion. It actually pulls energy out of the internal organs and down and out. So it's contraindicated when a woman is pregnant because it can allow for premature childbirth. So when the mother of my daughter was pregnant, I stayed away from this point during her entire pregnancy. But when she was giving birth at our home, I worked this spleen 6 point the entire time. She had a 5.5-hour labor, and I took complete credit for it. So spleen 6, great point. Tends to be more tender on women than men. It's also an ovarian uterine point. That may be why. It definitely affects any sort of menstrual issues, hormonal issues, things like that. Spleen 6. So don't forget this point. The other one, which many people consider to be the top point in the entire body, and I think it's probably true, is stomach 36. And the way we're going to get to this point is on the outside of the leg. We come up. We're going to stop right here where you hit the bone. Come over with the opposite hand. Put those fingers right there, stomach 36. Bring the other hand on top, and we're just going to pull the fingertips into this point. Everybody see this point right here? Boom. Following the line up, stops, hand there, boom. Stomach 36 is, in Chinese, is called Sanri, which means 3-mile point. So when the Chinese army would get tired after hiking for 3 miles, this is how the story goes, they would put a pebble in the top of their boot so they could continue to go further, because it's an energy point. It brings energy up in the body. It is the most important immune function point in the body, many people say. Of course, very good for digestion and many other things. So spleen 6 here, stomach 36 here, and you're good to go. Really stimulate it, really work it. And by the way, you can do all of these points, not all of them, but many of them while you're just sitting around watching TV, or some of them when you're waiting in line at the grocery store. You know, don't waste time and work some points. In my village here in Mexico, which is a very hilly cobblestone street village, I walk every day, and I'm always working points and stretching and moving when I'm walking. And the Mexicans think I'm just a crazy gringo, but I'm actually getting good cardiovascular work, but I'm also stretching and opening up the meridians. Okay, so it doesn't have to be isolated to just a period of time where you have time to exercise. You can do this work anytime. Let's come to the other side, spleen 6. And we're going to just place the hands here on top of that ankle bone, on top of that finger. It's about 3 inches up from the top of the ankle bone. Everybody see that? Spleen 6. So let's work this point. Spleen 6. Very good. Immune function, digestion. And then we're going to come up on the other side. We'll come up to the stomach 36. Remember, follow the line up. It stops at the bone. We bring our fingers over. See where my fingers are right now? And then I'm going to place my other hand on top, and we're going to go, ooh, right there. and pulling back. Use your body weight. Pull back into stomach 36. The most important point in the body, according to many people. Okay. Oh, by the way, the most important points in the body, according to Chinese medicine, are the points from the knees through the toes and from the elbows through the fingers. So the points furthest away from the internal organ they relate to are the most therapeutic and the most important. And that's why I'm working these points today, because they are so important. And speaking of that, coming to, I'm going to show you just a few more really important points. Let me see if I can get like this so you can see me. Okay, on the hands, remember I just said the elbows through the fingertips, really important points. Real quickly, because we're running out of time, I want to come to large intestine 4. And the way we find that is by closing the hand. See the crease in my hand there? It's right there. I'm opening up my hand, and there's the point. And the way I'm going to get that is come with the opposite hand over that thumb, and I'm going to pull this thumb into that point. So coming over, that thumb goes into the point, and then I'm dropping my hand on top, and then I'm just stimulating this point. This point is another great immune function point. Some people say this is the most important point in the body, and it might be. It's certainly in the top 5, and you might feel a little tenderness. This point helps with anything in the head, any sorts of headaches. I know some people who, when they go to the dentist, don't want anesthesia, so they'll take their acupuncturist with them, and the acupuncturist will put a point right here because the large intestine meridian runs right up into the teeth. Personally, I'm not that brave. I'll take the anesthesia, but some people don't want it, and that works. So large intestine 4. Very good point for all kinds of things. Work this point all the time if you can. Turning the hand over, we're going to interlace the fingers. And right here in the middle of the palm is pericardium 8. Pericardium 8 is a point that's responsible for calming the spirit, or calming what's called the Shen. So when we're thinking a lot, when we're overthinking, we're anxious, all those sorts of things, having insomnia, pericardium 8 is a good point. We're going to interlace our fingers and let the thumb come in right there. And right in the middle, and then we're just going to push that point. This point in the interpretation in Chinese is called palace of exhaustion. So it also helps when you're tired. Helps to calm the spirit and bring the energy up. My teacher, Shizuko, I've told the story before, in class, she would always say, oh my gosh, for years, she'd always call it the motel of exhaustion because Shizuko's English wasn't that great, even though she lived in New York for 25 years. And so every class, she'd say, okay, palace of exhaustion. So one time I got brave enough after class. And you had to be kind of brave with Shizuko because she was a strong personality. Sweet, wonderful woman, but a strong personality. So I said, Shizuko, you know, it's really not called motel of exhaustion. It's palace of exhaustion. Just so you know. And she says, oh, Kerry-san, thank you so much. Next class, she gets up and teaches this point. She says, okay, motel of exhaustion. And that was Shizuko. Okay, so there's that. Let's come to the other side, and we're going to follow the line up on the thumb. See that right there? Let that other thumb come over, go in, and pull. Now pull that whole hand in. You might feel an indentation on that bone, and if so, you're on the point. It can be a little bit tender. Right here, it can be a little bit tender. That's okay. If it is, that means there's some stuck chi in this meridian, which relates to all different parts of the body. So really important point to work. And then finally, coming back to over here, interlacing the fingers, and we're going to come to the motel of exhaustion and work this point. Work motel of exhaustion point. Pericardium 8 calms the spirit, relaxes, but also can increase the energy. Okay, very good. So, you know, normally when I teach this class, it's quite a bit longer because there's just so much to cover. But we've done about 45 minutes, so we're going to bring it to an end in a minute. But I want to say, with all the other points in the body and all the other meridians, there's so much more we can do. And I hope you learn some things you can apply to your daily routine or your daily health toolkit. I want to let everybody know that I mentioned before, I've done this work for 35 years. It's changed my life. It continues to. And I hope you can take advantage of that as well. One thing I'm doing right now, I'm working on a program of Do-In or self-massage that's a deep dive. It's really going to be a very comprehensive view of Do-In, including all the emotional, mental, and physical aspects of healing through opening up the chi in the meridians and the points. It's going to be about 3.5 hour long program. It's going to go into some very, very interesting things and really deepen everybody's understanding of how this whole system works. That will be released January 1st. I'm going to type in, if I know how to do this, maybe Ganat can help me. I want to type in my email address. So if anybody wants to be on my mailing list and know about, I think I see it here, I'll type it in, and know more about this program, which releases very soon. Let's see. I think there it is. Okay, there's my email. Just email me if you want to be on the list, because I'm going to be doing this class starting January 1st, but you can take it anytime. It's not a live class. It's a sequence, a series of different videos and explanations and a lot of stuff we did today, but just in a much bigger, expanded view. I'm also teaching some other health modules in 2021 that will be available online. So jump on my mailing list. I won't saturate you with emails, I promise you. But I would like to stay in touch with all of you. And I'm so happy that you were able to come today. And it is now almost 8 o'clock my time, and I am wide awake. And I hope you all are too. And very nice to meet you. And I hope to see you again. Thank you.
Kerry, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. I feel so good. Thank you.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.